Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Moments with me. I am Makeba Evans, and today we are going to be talking about the benefits of yoga and the practice of yoga. And this is Candice, and she has so gracefully opened up her home and is going to have a conversation with us about yoga.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Oh, definitely.
How many years have you been practicing yoga?
You know what? I was trying to figure that out the other day. I think I've been practicing yoga seriously for about 4 years. And when I say seriously, I mean committing to a practice at least 3 to 5 times a week. And I definitely do a yoga pose regardless every day. So even if I can't get to class or I can't really get on my mat, I might do a headstand or a handstand or just something.
Okay. And how long does that take?
You know what? If you have 5 minutes, you can do yoga. I mean, when you wake up, you can get up and move your body and get ready for your day. I mean, after we've been asleep all night, our bodies are very stiff. So there are a few things that you can do, whether it's just some cat-cows, moving your spine in different directions, warming your body up, some forward folds, even just a meditative moment where you're just checking in with your breath and breathing and starting your day off on the right foot.
What are the benefits of yoga?
You know what? There's so many benefits. There's almost too many to name. I mean, I think first of all, it's a mind, body, spirit practice. So not only are you toning, increasing your flexibility, getting stronger, but your mind you're quieting your mind when you're practicing yoga because you're focusing on your breath as you're moving. So it's basically it's a moving meditation. So I could say, I mean, better sleep. People who have back problems, they like to practice yoga. They notice an improvement. All around better health. You know, it can improve your digestion. I mean, anything. I always tell people there's a yoga pose for whatever you're going through. So I'm like, oh, there's a yoga pose for that.
So what are some misconceptions about yoga?
Well, first I would say one misconception is that you have to be flexible because yoga is about building flexibility. Like no one just starts off flexible unless you were a dancer or a gymnast or have some kind of background in yoga or whatever. But if you're just starting off at your first yoga class, you're not going to be able to do all the poses and you're not going to be able to like necessarily even touch your toes. But it's goals that you're working towards. So I feel like people are like, oh, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible. You're building up to the flexibility. And also, I would say is that people think that you have to be small, and I know we are small, but you know, yoga is for everybody, any age, size, weight, it does not matter. Like a yoga pose can help anyone. So that's something like when people say, oh, but I'm so out of shape, but you're working towards, you know, becoming healthier and building a stronger body. So even if you are, you know, not in the best shape, you can come into a yoga class and really start to see changes in your body. Not only just I mean, I feel like when I started practicing yoga, my body just started feeling toner and in a different way than I was working out. But all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm just kind of shrinking here and there. And I think a lot of people experience that no matter their size.
Okay, so you've been practicing yoga for 4 years. So when you were saying in your practice, you just meant practicing personally, not like you have a holistic practice.
No. So that's, I call it, right, like my yoga practice. Okay. So, you know, like you would have your yoga practice, I would have mine. Gotcha. So, you know, now that I've been practicing for a long time, it's more, in the beginning I wasn't necessarily committing, like now I'm way more committed to yoga and I'm like, okay, because I see the benefits and I want my body to feel good and I just want my mind, ultimately my mind is, it's that stress release and it's like when after I go to yoga I just have like a yogasm.
Gotcha.
And I love it. And I'm like, oh, I feel so good.
I guess that's with anything, like with the exercise, it's about getting out, getting to the gym or setting up your living room to work out. And then once you finally do it, you just feel so much better.
Definitely.
What I want to ask you? Oh, have you tried different types of yoga?
I have. So basically, well, there are a lot of types of yoga, but pretty much what is practiced mostly here is a vinyasa style yoga. So it's pretty much an intensive, I won't say intensive, but I guess it's intense. It's more of a workout.
Does that mean you continuously move, or you hold in a pose?
Exactly.
So vinyasa means movement.
Flow.
I like that.
Yeah.
Flow, yeah. I like
So you're
that
continuously flowing. So that's pretty much the class that you would go into if you went into a yoga class today. That would be vinyasa style, or hatha, which all of them are kind of like come from the same place, and then they've just kind of branched out. Hatha is a little bit slower, but it's similar to vinyasa, but you're going to hold the poses a little bit longer. So that's a good starting point for somebody who's just getting into yoga. A lot of people will call that yoga basics. You have the hot yoga, which I do like to do, but that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And some of that
so hot.
It is very hot, and so I don't really recommend that for people. Like, even when I first started yoga, I went in there and I was like, oh my god, I was having to get in child's pose.
Like, did they wear deodorant? Like, is that me? Like,
yes,
checking yourself?
It's very sweaty. Sweat everywhere from your partners in the class. So it definitely is not for everyone, and I wouldn't suggest that people just dive right into hot yoga. But also, I mean, I know if you're looking to lose weight, that's a good way to just sweat a lot of the toxins out of your body. And people seem to lose weight quickly doing the hot yoga, but it's definitely, it can be dangerous. So you have to make sure that you're properly hydrated and you rest. So, because some of it is a vinyasa style and that you're constantly flowing, and then other is Bikram, where they just do the same poses.
And I thought Bikram meant hot yoga.
Well, so no. They have not necessarily. So Bikram is their own personal style where they do the same, I think it's 26 postures. So like what I do is more of vinyasa, hot flow. And so we're moving, we're doing sun salutations, we're doing dancer, we're doing, we're moving in and out of poses. So in Bikram, I don't think they do all the vinyasas in between the poses and stuff. But I definitely, yoga basics, vinyasa. I mean, Ashtanga is something for the diehard yogis, and that's a very serious practice, very physically vigorous. I honestly have a love-hate with Ashtanga. I don't really, sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. But it's the same series of postures also, but it's just very, very, you're taking a vinyasa in between everyone, and by the end I'm like, oh. But
what is a vinyasa?
A vinyasa, so I can show everybody what a vinyasa is. A vinyasa is basically just a sun salutation. Okay. Yes. So I think a lot of you guys might know what that is, but so we consider a whole full sun salutation from downward dog all the way through. I'm trying to think now. Back up to standing. That's considered a vinyasa. Okay. So in some of these classes, you're doing the poses, but then you're taking like the full vinyasa, so you're in a full movement, and so it ends up being very exhausting towards the end.
Okay, and you're there long. That's a long class.
Yes. So like Ashtanga would be like an hour and a half class, and so it's definitely the full hour and a half. You're gonna be.
Okay, so for those interested in classes and they're clueless, what is the price that you pay for a class?
Well, you know what? There's like drop-in. What I always suggest is people go on Groupon and look because I go on Groupon and then you can go and try it out. But sometimes there's studios where they'll let you have a free trial or a drop-in rate where you can just go in and pay $10 and you can take the class. Okay. But YouTube is your friend. YouTube is free.
Yes. That's true.
And that starts you off, and I mean, I've learned a lot. I even go on YouTube now to look for poses, to teach myself, like some advanced poses and to get pointers.
So to challenge yourself further in your practice.
Yes.
Okay, now to me, and when people look at us, we look like earthy people. But it's not, I don't want to say, back in the day, we would be like hippie.
Yes, right.
So it's not only for people with that.
There's guys in my class. They
there's
have on corporate types. No, corporate type. There's like a lot of guys. Like you would be surprised to see them in there. And some of them are, they train out in the gym, and then they're like, because lifting and doing all of that stuff, whether you're running or biking, it can make your muscles very stiff. Mm-hmm. So you are building your muscles, but they want to stretch out and make sure they don't get injured and also gain some flexibility. So there's all types of people. That's another misconception.
Yes.
It's not just for hippies. Like, yoga is for everyone. It's for all types of people. So that was one of the things at first. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like yoga. And yes, I am a hippie, but I still thought it was so slow. Yeah. And am I going to be able to get the workout? And then as I got into it, I was like, this is really hard. Yeah. This is not
discipline.
Yes.
Definitely. Being able to hold your own body weight.
Yes.
Yeah. And stay up and not fall down.
Definitely balance. Yeah. So a lot of things that I just was like, wow, I couldn't do a lot of poses at first. And I was looking around like, look at all these people that can do poses, but you're not supposed to do that. Yoga is a journey, and everyone is in a different place on their journey. So I always look at it like, yes, this person can do that, but they may not be able to do this, and they may not be, and you may be able to do that, and they may not be able to do that, because sometimes it's your body shape and your what am I trying to say? Your how your spine is, and so some of it is genetics, and some poses are easier for certain people, and some poses are harder. So,
yeah, I've seen some people much larger than me that can touch their toes, and sometimes I just can't.
Well, it's right, and it's all about practice, and so some people are more flexible in their spine. Like, that's an issue for me too. Well, the back bends and stuff like that, those don't come easily to me, but I'm never afraid to try to go up into headstand or handstand, and some people are afraid of that. So everybody just has their strengths and weaknesses, and it's funny, I'll talk to my friends in yoga class and I'll be like, but your spine's so open, and they're like, but your hips are so open. I know this. So it's like everybody just has their strengths and their weaknesses, and you're just constantly working on those and just trying to grow and push yourself further without getting injured, not too far.
I know, that's just so strange that you can injure yourself stretching.
You can. I have like several injuries right now, and I'm like, Yes, because, again, that's another thing about yoga. It's about letting your, not letting your ego control your practice. So your ego is telling you, go into that pose, you can do it. You're seeing other people, whether it's in class, online, and they're like in the splits, and you're like, I could do a split. And then all of a sudden you have a hamstring injury and you have to sit out. So it's like, it's a balance.
Listen to your body.
Yes, you listen. That's exactly what my teacher tells us. Listen to your body. So, and don't let it be about your ego, because that's not what yoga is about.
Okay, so explain ego.
Okay, well, it's
that voice in your head.
Yes,
pushing you.
The voice in your head that's saying, you can do that. Look at that girl over there in class is doing that, when you really can't do that.
Right.
And that's okay. And so you end up, you might end up getting hurt. Like, I've had some sprains. Like, the hamstring is one area that can really be injured very easily in yoga, and I've had several little hamstring sprains and different things, because I was just trying to force it. And I guess in yoga we talk a lot about the ego and basically leading with your heart and not your ego. So your heart, when you're leading with your heart, you're more open, you're more compassionate, you're more humble. You're just, when you're leading with your ego, you're like, yeah, I'm here. You want to be right, you want to be the best, you're comparing yourself. I had a yoga teacher, my very first teacher, she would say, eyes on your own mat. And I was like, why is she always saying this? And then finally, when I started taking classes with people who were doing handstands and forearm stands and chin stands, and I was like, now I get it, because if you keep looking around, you're going to compare yourself, and you shouldn't.
Yeah. And you won't be able to focus.
No, you won't. And then you'll mess up, because you'll start thinking, why can't I do that? And then all of a sudden you're falling out of your pose because you're supposed to be focused on your breath.
Right. That's so true.
Yes.